We've all seen the insanity happening in Minnesota, and in this clip, you're going to see us talk about just how far these crazies have gone. Let's go and move over to Minnesota and talk about all the nonsense that's happening over there. This has been an ongoing saga for the better part of 3 weeks, and I think it's important to really point out that this whole thing started, everything that's happening in Minnesota, like you can talk about the origin of it being in, the migration and all that stuff, but really what it comes down to is Nick Shirley did a video. It popped off online. Millions and millions of people saw it. Then the government was like, hey, dog, we need to do something about this. They went into Minnesota, and then the protest happened. The lady gets shot, and all of a sudden you have people who need to, quote unquote, protect their community from the ICE agents coming in, despite them just trying to do their job, right? And now it's kind of in this ebb and flow of things that have happened. Now we have seen people just straight up harassing people that are just trying to like enjoy lunch because they're more or less asking for papers, please, because they want to inspect to see if people are ICE agents or not. Case in point, this is from a couple of people who like develop apps for a living. They're just hanging out and eating lunch, and they get stopped in the middle of their lunch because they, quote, look like ICE agents. Like, what does that mean? And this is the type of thing that we've seen recently where people are just stopping. They're over here and they're going to get yelled at by these folks while they're at lunch. Oh, I realize that I don't have the audio pulled up. Let me pull that up really fast. But they're just trying to like enjoy a chicken pesto sandwich or whatever. And they got these people yelling at them from the outside, looking in because they look like ICE.
This is so cool. So cool as in like this has got to be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I know, it's like you feel like a zoo.
I've never. So they're inside getting yelled at from the outside. They're like, "What is happening?" And then they go outside.
Then why do you care? If you're not with us, then you're against us. So clear. So clear.
Oh my god! What? We do custom apps for a whole bunch of companies around Minnesota and the country.
Why are you filming us?
Because you're filming us. Here.
So these dudes just trying to have like a nice sandwich and a soup and salad special from their local bakery, and they're getting harassed because they're just like enjoying their lunch break.
She pulls a freaking Anakin Darth Vader. She literally did. If you're not with me, then you're against us. Like, you're my enemy.
Yeah.
Well, that's their mentality. That's the thing. It's been their mentality for a very long time now. Where it's simply if you get marked as a racist or a Nazi or a fascist, whatever they want to throw terms and labels at you. Go back to Gamergate, sexist, patriarchy, all that fun stuff. You are enemy number one, and they don't care. As soon as you're labeled that, they will attack you. And if you even look and fit their profile, because I mean, chances are they are profiling because they're paranoid and they want to try to find as many ICE agents as possible. They will just go after them because you just simply look that way. Because they are legitimately are scared, I'm gonna say it's a mix of fear and paranoia, but also lots of anger and just pure hate that the leftists have against the actual real Americans. Because they prefer the immigrants and the Somalian community in this case more than their actual real Americans that are not committing fraud, and they will do anything to protect what they consider is their friends against those enemies.
Even if it means stopping people in their cars. So we've seen people stopping from enjoying their soup and salad combo. Now we see this kick streamer just driving around. I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend. There was a kick streamer who got confronted by this Karen who thought he was ICE. He was just in his car and he was like, is this real life? Check out the reaction here. And this is 7 minutes long. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but you'll get the idea really quick.
Is the incident for the family dispute?
What's up? Window.
Hi, are you law enforcement?
Huh?
Are you law enforcement? Are you law enforcement?
No, why?
Are you law enforcement?
No, why?
Are you law enforcement?
Bro, is this a simulation? Oh, is this like one of those ice things or something?
Cool, thank you. Good to know. Are you law enforcement? I'm just gonna grab your car here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like you're law enforcement.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make sure.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. It's one of those people, dude. Bro, she's still saying it. How?
So he gets stopped right there for simply just being in his car because he looks like law enforcement. Very papers, please, here as we're going around, and people have become like this. Isn't this exactly what they got upset at Nick Shirley about? The idea of him just going in and asking questions, right? They're like, you can't do this. What, you're not, like now they're literally going up and saying, hey, where's your documentation? And if you're not with us, you're against us. This is pretty amazing. Mal, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before.
I mean, they've done this stuff for a very long time. There were lots of riots that happened back in like 2016 during Trump's first presidency, and leading up to it too. As Phoenix said earlier about him being memed in the presidency, there were a lot of YouTubers and people on the online right that were promoting Trump, and there were people that were getting punched for even supporting Trump, being milkshaked. Back then, there were Antifa riots all over the place. Back in 2017, there were some Republicans at a baseball game that got shot at. Like, they have been violent and they have been tribal for ages. And this is only within the past 10 to 15 years. But Antifa is an organization that existed for over 100 years in America. This is their modus operandi. They actively try to find whoever they think is, and chances are it's going to be a white or a physically fit man that they're going to be looking for, because that is who they see as MAGA. And or in this case, so the kick streamer, he had lights on the back of his car.
Correct.
And so they were like, well, then you're a copper then.
Right.
In this case.
Yeah, I did. You're right. That is context that I missed, and that's my fault on this. Let's go ahead and play that out really quick, because she said that he had blue lights and red lights flashing in the back of his car, which made him look like a cop.
In a way, look at her. She thinks she's onto something. Look at her. Look at her. Oh my God. Look at her. She thinks she's onto something. She thinks she's onto something. Look at her. My blue lights were flashing, by the way. Let's see my blue lights. With a fucking mannequin in the front seat. That is hilarious.
Do you have a mannequin in the seat?
Maybe
that's weird.
Well, he's going for the he wants to go in the HOV lanes, the high occupancy vehicle lanes, which, by the way, also illegal.
Yeah,
Just
very
wanna point
illegal.
that out.
I
Yes.
remember people used to do that with babies, and they get into a lot of deep shit with that one.
But
They're
hey,
fake.
But look, if they're not going to stop you from rioting and doing doing whatever, they're not going to stop you for having a mannequin in your front seat. Like, I'm just saying, let's put it all in perspective here. We've seen this though, and once again, this is real life experiences here. This person over on X, based VTuber Astro, says, Minnesotan here. My best friend works for a security company and he wears body armor almost resembling an ICE agent. After he got home, people approached his car and took pictures of his license plates and house. He's not even an ICE agent. These people are targeting individuals who even resemble ICE agents here. Mm-hmm. Phoenix, I bet you have, I don't know. I would just love to hear your thoughts on everything that's happening up there. This sheer bravado of wanting to be law enforcement.
Yeah, well, look, this whole thing is, I think we all feel it. It's just exhausting. It is weird watching people really becoming kind of turning into that zombie horde. It's politics is the blood bite, and then they just become just this. They're sick on anything. They just the little rabid dogs. Whatever the hive tells them to do, they kind of do it. The only thing I would say is, I feel like our side is, this reminds me of the tortoise and the hare. And a lot of us have been acting like the hare. We're laughing at these people. Boy, this is really funny. Look how weird and funny they are. But they're gaining a lot of momentum. And if you look at like the state of affairs in the world, if you're wondering, you're looking around going like, wow, the world doesn't look the same anymore. It's really weird. People are cutting off genitals, all this other stuff. Well, like the tortoise is gaining some momentum. And I think we need to really start, while it's fun to laugh at them, and I'm all for shaming these people and they deserve it. I think we need to start looking at them as a real potential threat and start finding ways of peacefully protesting this and getting involved in politics to start stopping this momentum, because it's invading everywhere. And now that it's even affecting just normal folks, just having a sandwich, the fear in that is that if we just keep laughing at that's going to grow and grow. You actually see this during like riots and stuff, like where anytime a political event happens, you see people like boarding up their storefronts and saying like, no, we're with you. The minute you get to that point, they've won. Like to the point that where you need to border up and say, please don't hurt us. We're with you. That side is gaining an enormous amount of momentum. And you're seeing this everywhere. These little micro moments start adding up. And you just hope that people's frustration turns into, you want that frustration from the normal folks to want to stop it, as opposed to, all right, it's easier if we just let them, all right, yeah, okay, fine, you can win here, you can do that. That's like my big warning to everybody. Just be careful. We can laugh at them, but they are gaining ground.
So I'm with you on that, Phoenix. And I think that's the question that I have for everybody in Minnesota, right? You've seen this fraud exposed. You've seen these people out here that are literally causing chaos. Like they're doing the exact opposite of what they want to do. They're doing what they're claiming ICE to do, right? Causing chaos and uprising within these communities, right? So all these regular Minnesotans out there, right? The normal men in Minnesota, why aren't they protesting at the steps of the governor's mansion saying, hey, what are we going to do about it? Like, if you want, these people are out there protesting. Yeah, it's cold out there. Why aren't you out there? And the answer is, well, they have jobs. Like, they have jobs and they have things to do. They have families and stuff. But maybe it is worth taking a day off and getting out there and organizing something and just letting your voice known that, hey, billions of dollars of our money is gone. It's being sifted to other spots of the world. Total fraud. What are we going to do about it? And like, we actually just had this conversation actually with family member that, like, yes, you can talk all day long, but you also have to act. You know, we talk and we laugh about these things on a day-to-day basis, but like, what are we going to do about it? And that's been the common theme of things that we try to do. We try to act on with Side Scrollers is we try to provide alternatives, right? So why are people not out in the streets in Minnesota protesting at the governor's mansion, protesting at the state capitol, and letting them know that, hey, this ain't going to fly?
Yeah, look, for starters, what the left really, the radicals truly understand more than anyone, and they're basically a zombie horde of great PR, is they know it's an optics game. So the great thing is, you know that the media is behind you. So if I can get a rally going, and we know that so much of that is supported, you see it with the signs and everything like that, they're able to very quickly organize things. That way they know that now you're seeing images of people marching, and they know that the media is going to never show the violence. And it's always just going to show like, wow, look at all these people in support of, their cause. Like, wow, it really is us versus the evil empire. Like, because optically, that's what it looks like. And I think our side, I hear it all the time. I've heard it constantly. Listen, dude, I'd love to fight the fight, but I've got a family and I've got a job. And so what are you going to do? Well, it's like, well, and I get that to an extent, but if you are concerned about your kid's future, I can assure you that they are not going to have a bright future if this keeps going. So unfortunately, you're going to have to get involved to some capacity. I know that that's not fun, but someone has to. So what we definitely could be using is more leaders to help get us rallied. It would be so much easier if someone could step aside and go like, meet us on such and such date to rally behind the cause. If we could have that, there's a chance that we would have some momentum, but we're really bad at that because we always just want to be left alone. And it's like, well, look at what happens when you're left alone. Don't be surprised when you turn around. You're like, the country you knew is gone. So I think we need some leadership. We need some good organizers. And that would go a long way, personally. That's my opinion.
The other thing to consider too, and it's something I feel like a lot of people deep down are aware that even if the right does go ahead and protest, like that, you've already seen in smaller actions, with counter protests for leftists before, in the United States and in the UK, where things get violent, and so if somebody does actually step up and become a leader and try to protest, go to Tim Walz's mansion and try to be like, hey, we don't like you, get out of here type of deal. The left will arrive, Antifa, Ice Watch, and all the different factions within it, and it will get violent. They're already attacking people. There was this guy who got stabbed, during the Minnesota protests, like over the weekend. Then like Nick Sorter had his stuff stolen. And this is just like, over the past weekend this has happened,
Yeah.
but it's been quite violent over the past few weeks, and this is just within Minnesota so far, most recently, not including all the other times that Antifa has been violent before as well. So if people actually do protest and organize correctly on the right, it will more than likely turn into a Beanie Man situation. The the Civil War type of deal, if that keeps on going, because that's essentially what it would be. Because you would have to defend yourself because the left doesn't care. They take no prisoners. Like you said, the media is on their side, but the police are on their side too.
Yeah, they've been
That's
captured.
why, yeah, like they've been ordered to stand down, and even though they're being harassed and they've been chased out multiple times, but they will uh, um arrest the people on the right instead of the left, because there is a two-tier system here as well, mostly within the blue states. It's not going to be pretty, when that actually happens. Do I agree that we do need to organize and actually try to fight back, especially work with the local community? Definitely, but there will more than likely be consequences with that.
Well, let me throw one thing at you. Like, so 100%. Here's the sad reality, though. If we don't, that number just gets bigger, right? So the more and more empowered they are, then the more and more empowered they are with the police, the politicians, you name it. So if it's going to get violent now, believe me, if we still continue to do nothing, boy, is it really going to get bad. Because if we had stopped this from minute one, there would have only been one petitioner, and that would have been easy to stop. Now there's a big horde. And it's like, well, we better do something now, because if we don't, then it's an entire country against you. I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but it gets worse and worse if we don't do anything.
Yeah, it's basically, I see it as like two scenarios right now. It's either going to be the Beanie Man style of things, where it's people on the ground, or it's going to take Trump actually using his authority, get the Insurrection Act, and actually put the ICE and the FBI and the National Guard, every tool at disposal on his streets to actually take care of this. He already labeled Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization last fall. He has the authority to do this. Obviously, the activist judges are a problem, and they also need to be taken care of as well, in their own way. But there are laws in the books that actually take care of this. It does require a lot more government overreach than a lot more people are comfortable with. Trust me, I'm not a big fan of the government, like at all.
Right.
But
I like
I
you.
also. Thanks. You're not so bad.
There you go.
But at the same time, it's either going to be essentially one or the other, at this moment and time. Weimar problems create Weimar solutions. If things aren't going to be solved, and they've been ramping up for decades now under a lot of people's noses. I mean, I always go back to Gamergate for a lot of these examples, as that's when a lot of the Antifa stuff started ramping up. But this was still happening even before Antifa. You saw it during the civil rights stuff, in the 60s and the 70s. It's only been getting worse as the decades pass on, with it. And if any and no offense to people in chat, but I saw there's a super chat that mentioned that the left isn't gaining ground. The left still has complete control. It has complete control of California and New York City, our two biggest states with a huge part of our economy. Has complete control of Minnesota. I mean, how that state voted blue in 1984 when the rest of the 49 states voted red. And that's back in 1984. With everything, they have the universities still. They have a lot of social media other than Twitter. Elon buying Twitter, but despite all his faults, is absolutely essential for turning the tide. But they still have Zuckerberg still owns Facebook. YouTube still has a lot of censorious policies that we have to be very careful about with everything with social media. They still have the mainstream media that the boomers are watching. And they still have the institutions. You still have to be very careful about what you say at the workplace, even though I believe you shouldn't talk politics at the workplace, but you still need to be careful there. They have control over absolutely everything. This has been a long-term plan. Just to go another example of this is like DEI, for example, woke. Everybody thinks is a brand new thing, but it's not. It was created. Intersectionality is the actual term for the victim totem pole here. That for if you're black or trans or gay, whatever the case is, that was created in the 90s by Kimberly Crenshaw, who got it from French philosophers from the 70s. This has been a huge problem for as long as we're aware of. For during my dad's lifetime, my dad's a literal boomer. He has watched America go from Americans to what we have now, essentially. It's been decades of propaganda. This is not going to be solved overnight, and it's not going to be solved without some sort of community local action or the God Emperor Trump coming down. And if it's not going to be the God Emperor, it's going to be what people want Trump to be instead. So it's complicated.
That's why I want to just quickly say, it's one sentence basically. That's why I'm trying to say is, please keep, like, it's fun to laugh at these people. Understand that the threat though in front of you, like, even for those who think that we're winning, that's fine. That their opinions are great. It's wrong, but you can think that. But just make sure you keep your eyes on this. Start treating these people as a threat that wants to take you down. And there is, contrary to what you may believe, they do have some power. So just keep your eye on them and try to rally against them peacefully, of course, and politically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just want to mention one more thing real quick, because somebody brought up Yuri Bezmenov in the chat. He warned about this stuff in the 80s as well. He was a former KGB defector and came and taught in American schools about how the USSR was infiltrating the system. And people, if you watch those videos, they just laugh at him because he says that, it's already been happening. They're already demoralizing you. They're already disenfranchising you. And they just sat there and laughed. And that was in the 80s. I wasn't even a thought. I wasn't even around with this. So it's been a long-term problem.
Obey YouTube. Watch this video. It's suggested for you.